To start off, I always like to take a measurement of where my knocking point is on the string before I replace it, because I have the bow exactly where I want it and I want to put it all back exactly the same so it takes less work to get it retuned and resighted in. So I'll measure with the tape measure starting at 1 right at the bottom of the top knock set, and I just measure to the axle screw. And if I measure to the axle screw right here, it looks like it's exactly 16 inches to the very top of the Allen head screw in the axle. So that's where we'll go ahead and we will cut off, or that's where we'll tie on the new D-loop and the knocking sets once we get our serving applied here. So to go ahead and start, you've got to be very careful when you go to take this off because you don't want to cut your bowstring, but we'll cut off our D-loop right here, and we'll cut off the knock sets as well. So always cut at an angle. Don't cut down onto the string, cut at an angle. So, okay. We've got the knock sets off, and if you can see right here, you can see underneath the D-loop, the serving from shooting over and over and over has slid just a little bit. We've got a gap here on the bottom. It's not quite worn through, but once we get those knock sets off, you'll be able to see just how worn out it is. Okay, so there you can see it, and if you look right on the back side, but a lot of that serving is worn through. There's definitely still some life left on it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and get this replaced before I have any serious issues. Now when you go to remove this serving right here, it's important that you've got a pretty sharp razor blade, and I just lay it flat on the string and start it on one end. Let's see. Got to be very careful not to split any strands of the string. It's very easy to do. There we go. Okay, now this is crucial. It's important to know which way this is wrapping off of the string here, because it's very important that we wrap it the same way back onto the string. Okay, so looking at it like this, the string being wrapped this way down the string, if I start on the right end and I use my serving tool going over the top of the bowstring from my view, it's going to wrap in the exact same direction going down. So when you go to undo this, you can just kind of twist it with your finger, grab a tab, pull it out, and you get excess, you can just cut it off. This is right where the knocking point was, so if I look at it right here, like, yeah, see, it just busted on me. So that's how close mine was to busting, because it was so worn out that it was compromised that bad. That's why it's very important that you're proactive and you check everything, and if this needs adjusted, you need to just go ahead and get it done now before it costs you a hunt of a lifetime. Okay, to the end. Okay, once we get to the end like that, what I like to do is just see where the serving was, and I will make marks where I want the new serving to go, kind of based on where the old serving was. And you know, it's easy for a lot of folks. You're going to want to naturally put less serving on. Less weight in the middle means the bow goes faster, but without all the serving above and below the knocking point, you're going to find that that knocking point is going to creep up or down the bowstring. Typically it's going to go up, and you're going to find yourself shooting lower and lower and lower as you shoot, as your serving kind of settles in place. So it's important that you realize that. So now we're ready to go ahead and replace the center serving. I personally recommend using a serving jig to get the tightest wrap possible. You can pick these up for 20, 30 bucks. But what is most important is not only that you wrap it very consistently with the right amount of pressure around it, but you use the right size of serving material. This is just .018 power grip serving. There's other types of serving that you can use for your center serving. This works extremely well for me, but it is important that you get the right size and have the right diameter wrap so that your arrow knocks perfectly on the string. You know, if you knock it on and it's way too tight to come off on the string, that will definitely cause inconsistencies and a decrease in accuracy with your shot. So it is important to get that right. With this and with these match servings, it should come out about perfect for me. So let's see, before I start, actually, I've got these little shims that I'm going to use to give me space from my serving tool. I saw this from another bow technician, Josh Jones, on YouTube. Thought it was a super cool idea, so want to make sure you guys know that as well. Wanted to share that with you here. You can just put it on your cables, and then you can snap it on your string, just like this, and it's going to give you room to move this serving tool. So, whoop! Got to be careful. They can go flying, but it's an easy way if you don't have a bow press, don't want to take your string off, don't have a string jig or anything like that. It's going to get the job done for you. So I just cut off these broken arrows, cut them down, put nocks in both ends, and now I have room for my serving tool to work here. So now I'm ready to start serving, and remember, I'm going to start on the right side, wrapping over the top, right to left, so that I'm wrapping the same direction with the twist of the strings. If you've ever replaced your center serving and your peep sight has been twisted left or right, this is most likely why. It was more than likely served opposite direction on the string, and then what happens is that serving is tight, it is holding twist in the string underneath the serving, and as you draw back, that peep is twisting around like crazy. So it's important that we get that right. So to start here, I'll just start at the top. I'm just wrapping it loose, trying to get it started in the right direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm wrapping over this tag end. So I'll just pull this up. So I'm going to make sure I've got the tension set right, and I'm going to give it a few twists over the top of this. That feels about perfect, honestly, perfect tension. Okay, and then I'll just take this tag in and I'll pull it back. Now, some folks like to keep this tag end all the way down and weave it in and out so that the serving doesn't crawl or doesn't move. I like it out of the way with the 0.018. I'm going to get this string size here perfect so that the knock has the right amount of tension when I'm knocking on the string. And then I can just keep working down it here. And what I like to do is when I'm twisting this, I like to hold the actual bowstring with my opposite hand. So with my left hand here, I'm holding the bowstring, and if you look at my peep sight, I'm keeping that peep sight from twisting as I do it. Really, I don't want to induce bowstring twists underneath this serving. I think it could give me some just issues with my peep sight lining up. I want it as tight as I can without it twisting the bowstring. It's very important that you do get this tight. So yeah, I tighten it just there, and if you saw that peep sight twisted just a little bit, so I got it too tight, need to back it off just a touch, and that's about the perfect amount it seems like. Okay, so here's my black mark right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out, and it's important that I keep tension on this because I don't want to unwrap this whole thing, but I just need to back serve this similar to how you do a lot of knots with the peep sight. So I'm coming off the bottom of the string, so I go over the top. I'll wrap this, call it 4, 5, 6 times, and then I'm keeping it tight off the serving, and then I will pull this over the serving this way. So now I've got this loop, and I'm just going to undo the twist that I did on this side, keeping that one tag in tight the entire time. So I get to that point, I know this is probably hard to see, I'm keeping it tight, and I'm just pulling all this slack in up against the serving. Perfect. And now that center serving is tied perfectly. We'll cut it off about 1/4 inch high, and then I'll burn these ends down. Fire burns up. So make sure you're not burning into your string. And then I can take these off. Okay, that is my newly replaced center serving. So now I'll just confirm the knock fit. I've got the 5mm Easton Axis arrow with the standard X knock, and if I knock it on the string, it's got the firm knock on the arrow, and I can slide it up and down the serving, which is exactly what you want. If I were to put it on the first part of the serving where I had the tag end, if I knock it on there, it's much more difficult to move up and down It's a lot stiffer on the string, which it'd still be okay, but I'd personally rather have it a little bit looser. It still clamps on there. It's not going to fall off the string, but it'll fly with a little bit more consistency than not. Now, also, I'm not going to replace the D-loop and the nocking point in this video. We've done this on all of our bow build videos, including our Ultimate Bow Build Masterclass. So if you're interested in knowing how to set your nocking point, your D-loop, and your nock sets, go ahead and check those out. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it with a friend. Also, if you have any suggestions or anything you can add, please comment it below so we can all learn together. This channel is built on archers helping archers, and ultimately I want us all to succeed. Also, if you want to go deeper on bow building and bow tuning, check out our Ultimate Bow Build Masterclass online course. We take a deep dive going into the next level of bow tuning and setup overall. And we appreciate you joining us here today at Bow Only Outdoors. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.